external analysis. External analysis, sometimes called environmental analysis, is an objective assessment of the changing world in which our enterprise operates. As such, it could be referred to as an early warning system, so that we can spot the changes that affect our business, and particularly we're looking for opportunities and threats. Just like a ship at sea, as it goes on its journey, is constantly scanning the horizon 360 degrees. Similarly, in our creative enterprises, we need to be looking around us constantly to spot as early as we can opportunities and threats that could affect our business. Any business strategy needs to take into account this external analysis, this assessment of the changing world in which we operate that contains forces we cannot control and therefore we have to deal with in one way or another. A PEST analysis, or STEP analysis, invites us to look in 4 different directions when we're scanning the environment around us. PEST analysis is simply an acronym, with P meaning the political direction, what is happening in politics. E is for economics, S for social trends, and T for technological changes. All of these things will affect our business and will create opportunities and threats that could harm or help us. But rather than look just in 4 directions, I've devised a checklist which invites you to look in 8 directions, which I've used with creative enterprises around the world. This is the ICE DRIPS checklist, with each letter in the acronym pointing in a different direction. The letter I stands for innovation. What innovations are there in the external environment? These might be technological innovations, different technologies we can use, different ways that people have of engaging with each other. C stands for competition. What is the competitive environment like? How are our competitors changing? What are our competitors up to? E stands for economic factors, such things as inflation, public sector spending, exchange rates. All these things can affect our business, for good or for bad. D is for demographics. Perhaps an aging population, perhaps migration is affecting our markets. R is for regulations and the regulatory environment. In other words, laws and regulations that could affect our business. These might be national or international. I is for infrastructure. This might include transport networks, including cheap flights, perhaps broadband, telecommunications, and other aspects of the physical infrastructure in which our business operates. P is for partners. What partners could we have who are external to our business, but could help us to achieve success? With whom could we strike strategic alliances? Maybe local organisations or ones even in other countries. And S is for social trends. How are people changing their social habits? These might be changes in fashion, the way people spend their leisure time, and even the way that people consume information. And so this ICE DRIPS checklist can be useful to systematically analyse the world around us. Those points are not in order of importance. In fact, some will be far more important than others. Using the 95-5 rule, we might find that just 5% of those factors give us 95% of the opportunities or threats. And in this way, some things are far more important than others. Since the external environment, the world in which we're operating, changes constantly, this exercise needs to be done frequently and ideally constantly, remembering the image of the ship at sea constantly scanning the horizon with its radar. And in this way, the ICE DRIPS checklist and external analysis is an important part of strategic planning. We have other resources online that you can follow to learn more about strategic planning, to apply it to your enterprise so that you can become even more successful.